I'm sorry, guys. Is webcam required or no?
No, it's fine.
Nope.
All right, welcome everybody, both in person and on the YouTube live stream. This is our summer game jam, sponsored by the Game 370 class. They are doing the big heavy lifting, so we're going to turn this over to Adam Moore to give you guys the information that you need. And then this video will be posted up in the Discord server. If you have any questions, let us know. Adam, it's all yours.
All right. So before we get into the theme, I am going to go over a lot of the details about this jam. It's probably a little bit different than the past game jams if you've done some of our past game jams. For any of you who have never done a game jam before, our typical game jam is a 48-hour game development challenge. We announce a theme at the start. Developers have 48 hours to make a game. They present their games at the end. We usually reward certain achievements that the developers have done over the week, well, the weekend. But in this case, due to the pandemic, we've decided that we want to jam for a bit longer. We're going to give you 2 weekends. So the jam starts tonight after I announce the theme, and it ends on Sunday, July 26th at noon. Your game will need to be uploaded to itch.io and submitted to the jam by noon. The jam actually will lock you out at noon. If you have technical difficulties, you run into problems, for some reason the upload stalls and it doesn't get in time, just reach out to me and I can work with you to get it up there. I'm going to be sharing the link to the itch.io and to the Discord at the end of this presentation. But also keep an eye on the Discord for announcements over the course of the week. Right, so I want to go through the awards that we've come up with in the Game 370 class. They are a bit different than the ones that you're probably used to. First of all, we gave all of the awards some kind of fancy names. For example, our best design is the Architect Award. So if you have a very innovative design to your game is just ridiculous amounts of fun, you're going to be competing for this award. We have the Picasso, which is best art overall. So the prettier your game, the better. However, we do have a second art one this time. This one is pixel perfect. It is specifically the best pixel art game. So if you don't want to do 3D, you want to go straight 2D, do really cool looking 2D pixel art, this is going to be an award to try and strive for. So we've named our best audio the Bardic Inspiration. So if you have someone on your team who either has experience making music and sound effects or is interested in experimenting, this is a good one for you. I will give you a heads up. This can only be won if it is music of your own creation. If you picked up some royalty-free content that sounds really good, it does not qualify for this award. We usually have a best use of the theme award. So some tips on how to win this one. If you can make the judges laugh with your interpretation of the theme, you probably have a good chance of winning this. We also want to encourage some risk taking. So if you do something very experimental, even if if the game just fails horribly, but you learned a ton, we will reward the team that does the most experimental game. And we also want to encourage you to experiment with new game engines. So we are rewarding the team that finds and uses the most obscure game engine. So how we are measuring that is by essentially that engine's popularity. If you are using Unity or Unreal, you're probably not going to win this award. If you are using something like Adventure Game Studio, you're a lot closer to winning this award. So if you find something that not a whole lot of people have used or just isn't super popular and you use that to build your game, tell us about it and tell us about your experiences using it. And then one more that most people don't think of when it comes to developing a game is localizing that game to other audiences. So if you localize your game to a foreign language, you're going to be in the running for this. This award is for the team that does the most foreign languages, and saying that your game has no text does not count. So if you have some sort of text in your game and you have translated it to multiple languages, the player can choose what language they play in. This is an award that you're going to be in the running for. Right. So in addition to the awards that we're actually going to be handing out prizes for, we have optional challenges that you can choose to try and meet. So these are entirely optional. There's no necessarily prizes for these beyond the bragging rights of you did a game jam on hard mode and created something really interesting. So one of our diversifiers is recycle. So choose something that you built in a previous jam and reuse that asset with no changes. This is a fun one that you can do with another team. So what you do here is you team up with another team and you work together to design your game at the beginning of the jam. And once you guys have your design figured out, what game you guys are making, you split off into two teams and you compete to see who made a better version of the game you guys just designed. The Game of the Year diversifier is more about bringing awareness to social issues. So if your game raises awareness about some sort of important social issue from this year, you're going to be hitting this one. And that's not going to be hard to do. There's plenty of social issues from this year. So one of them, gray area, is that your game's art is entirely grayscale. So absolutely no color, just going from black to white and everywhere in between. A similar challenge is the NES palette. So to hit this challenge, your game will have to be limited to the color palette of the Nintendo Entertainment System. I'm going to be posting some resources about this one in the Discord. I'm also going to post some resources about localization because I know that there's not a lot of you guys know like best practices on how to plan your game to be easily translated. But yeah, this one's going to be challenging for the artist because it's a very limited color palette. This one's going to be a challenge for the whole team. Your game can fit on a single 1.44 megabyte floppy disk. So try to build something super small if you're going for this one. Your art is probably too big. Make it smaller. Noisemaker is more of an audio one. So this one is that the player's actions generate all of the sounds and the music for the game. So like their footsteps might be drum beats, things like that. And then on a similar note, we have Foley. All of the music in your game is just your team singing. And all of the sound effects in your game are vocalized by your team. So if there's an explosion, someone on your team said boom, or made an explosion sound effect verbally. So codeless, this one's going to be pretty easy to do if you use an engine that is entirely visual scripting. So if you go with nothing but blueprints in Unreal, if you do Construct, you can hit this one pretty easily. The Power of Friendship, your core mechanic is a system where your enemies turn into your friends. And then the last of the diversifiers, I'm probably going to post some information about accessibility too, because accessibility is a lot more than what this diversifier is. But this particular one is that your game can easily be played by the vision impaired. So you could put your game in front of a blind person, and they could play and enjoy your game just as well as someone with perfect vision could. All right, so here's the moment you've all really been waiting for. It's going to be the theme. And the theme for this year's Summer Jam is 2020. Now, keep in mind, you don't have to interpret that as this year. There's other things that you can get out of this theme. Right, so I am going to open up for questions now. Also, make sure to join the itch.io page so you can submit your game. Get everyone on your team to create an account and join the jam. It'll give us a head count of how many people are participating. And you can also add all of your teammates to your game page. Also, if you're coming in and you don't have a team, you're looking for team members, or you are relatively new and you need mentorship, or you run into problems, you need help in the middle of the jam, we have channels for that on Discord. So join our Discord, introduce yourself. If you run into problems or you need to find people to work with, that's going to be the place to do it. Right? Does anyone have any questions?
Yes. Can you repeat the theme again one more time, please?
The theme is 2020.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? I'm going to take it from the silence that there's no more questions.
That's what I was going with.
I will be available to answer questions later on the Discord if anyone comes up with any later.
Very cool. Thanks, Adam.
You're welcome.
I will put it as soon as the YouTube gets done processing this video. I'll put this video link up in the Discord as well. But for everybody, I'll second Adam. I'm going to try to keep Discord open. I try to keep it open as much as I can, but definitely for the jam. If you guys have any questions, I will often defer to Adam and the student team, but I can at least route stuff. So definitely use that. Adam's also talking about next week of, we might try to schedule just some general, hey, we're going to be there at this time if anybody wants to come and hang out and stuff like that. So looking forward to the very positive games you guys are going to create with the 2020 theme, not the the negative Armageddon games
that are not depressing.
Is that a diversifier? Because that's pretty hard.
Not depressing in black and white, man.
Not depressing black and white in 2020. Yeah, go with that.
How else am I supposed to vent? Adam? I don't...
I mean, I'm not saying you're not allowed to make depressing games. I'm just asking you to please don't do that.
I don't believe I'm judging in this one, but I will say as a former judge, the use of diversifiers, I always note them down when I'm judging, so just saying.
Mm-hmm.
They do sway me. If I have two games that are identical and I can't figure out which one, I'm going to give an award, and one did a whole bunch of diversifiers, that usually can tip me over onto that side. So, all right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and stop the stream here. So thank you for anybody. I think it's myself and my boy watching on YouTube. But this video will be available that way. You can, if you can't remember the diversifiers, you didn't write them down. Adam, are you going to post the PowerPoint up in the Discord server or somewhere?
Yes, I am. And also, all of the diversifiers are also available on the itch.io page.
Cool.
Along with the awards, too.
Awesome. So, yeah. So, you got some places to go and look for the information if you need it. So, thank you, everybody who's watching on the video. I'm going to go ahead and kill the stream, and then we'll answer any last-minute questions and kick off this epic 9-day jam.